A few months ago I decided to take a mental break from social media. This meant that I had zero access to websites or apps that allowed me to create or view content. If you're anything like myself, a normal 20-year-old boy, you definitely understand how powerful social media is on a day-to-day basis. No matter what social media app I'm using, I find there's always a place of toxicity and negative addiction involved. The first thing I usually do when I wake up is check my phone, and I'd be on it for about an hour. The month that I took off was hard, the first week especially. It was all about diffusing the habits. I noticed that I started to become more productive. I was reading every day, exercising more, going for walks, and just merging with the real world more than I ever have before. I'm making this short documentary to not only vent and share my personal struggles, but to also find if others struggle just as much as I do.
So social media influences my day-to-day life. I think from the moment I wake up, I grab my phone, I flick on Facebook, I scroll through, I open Instagram, I scroll through. Before I even get out of bed, it's kind of something that I'm thinking about, either consciously or subconsciously. And then because I work in media, a lot of the work I do is usually for Instagram videos or social media videos, social media content. So I suppose it's a big part of my life at the moment.
Yeah. Is that something that you're concerned about?
It does concern me.
In the morning and stuff,
So my social media consumption is something that does concern me. I've even gone recently to put a time limit on my Instagram use.
Yeah.
So I only let myself use Instagram 10 minutes a day. And I think my phone's built in, so I can do it on my phone. But it did concern me watching other people, like friends, when we go to bars, restaurants, when we could go out. And we'd all sit there on our phones, just staring at our phones. We didn't really communicate face to face anymore. And that concerned me quite a lot, how our behaviours change. Yeah, I'd definitely say there's more negative to positive aspects of social media. For me, especially young people, so people who are 18 and below, I feel that they're very consumed in the world of social media. They live their lives through social media, through Instagram, through Snapchat, and how other people see them. So I think when people are a bit younger, especially teenagers, it really affects them and their mental health and all the issues. Because being a teenager is tough anyway. You struggle anyway being a teenager, but especially have this magnifying glass of social media of how you should be seen or want to be seen, constantly being a thing. I think also seeing other images of models and personal trainers and people who got a perfect image. I think when you're younger, you get sucked into that a lot more than when you're older. You kind of know it's not the reality of life. My favourite thing about social media is the ease of communication. So whether it's jobs or friends or meeting new people, networking, it's so easy to communicate and get a message across.
What about your least favourite?
So my least favourite thing about social media is probably the level of expectation people put on it. So I mean by looking at other people and judging their lives by a one photograph or 10 seconds that you see on social media. I'm making that a judgment of a person's character. I think I could go a whole month on social media, but I think I'd struggle, especially for the first week or 2 weeks, because of the expectation of getting messages and feel like I'm missing out on things. Feel like I'm missing out on friends, on parties. Everywhere's opened up now with COVID, but I think I'd struggle, but I think a month would just about be doable.
Would you agree that it is more difficult for the younger generation?
Yeah, I think it is more difficult to kind of get off social media or not use social media for a younger generation rather than mine, just because the younger generations always had it.
Yeah.
As of my generation, like I remember a time before the internet, before social media, everything was online and everything was free.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think young people now who are 16, 17, 18 would really struggle.
Yeah.
Because they've never been without.
Yeah, so I've just met up with the lovely Phil, obviously a filmmaker himself. Yeah, no, it was great to get an insight on, someone who's heavily involved in social media and obviously someone of his age. I'm trying to get different angles and different perspectives on it, so yeah, so it's interesting to see Phil's perspective on the whole, whether he could do a month without social media. And he mentioned that he reckons he could do it for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I think the key words to sum it all up for me personally is balance and control. Because if you treat social media, like a diet, or or like work or like anything, if you control it and balance it, then you're going to be level-headed and you're not going to be stressing and there's no toxicity in your life. And I think it's as simple as that. I think a lot of people acknowledge that they are addicted to social media, but they don't actually do anything about it because it's not the cool thing to do, I suppose. But like I said, if someone is addicted to alcohol or whatever it may be, then it's addressed and it's took seriously. And I think an addiction to social media needs to be taken seriously.
Okay, this one's rolling.
So I use social media just to often check news about stuff I'm into, like movies, games. If I want to use social media to talk to friends, I mainly use Discord.
Right.
But like social media is like Twitter. In terms of like heated debates, I don't get involved with that. No. I just use it to look at news about stuff. Of course, there are positive aspects of social media. If you use it in the correct way. But obviously, in terms of negative, obviously there's Sky Sports News have been promoting about stop online abuse because it's affecting football players a lot. And not just that, football players, online abuse in general, there is cyberbullying's been around for God knows how long now, so there is a lot of negative aspects as well. Obviously there's the dark web as well, and some of the content people listen to is really pretentious and they're somehow making money off it. It's just wrong, really.
Would you say the negative aspects are more powerful than the positive ones?
I think it's definitely affected people mentally. Obviously, I'm sure there are cases out there where cyberbullying for people and just it's not been good in people's mental health and suicides come out of it. So
yeah. So in terms of apps on your phone, the mainstream apps, what app would you say you use the most?
The one I use the most is called Letterboxd. It's like a social media for film lovers where you can literally rate and log every film you've seen, rate them out as 5 stars, give them reviews. I'm sure it's I feel dead positive when I'm using it as well because it's showcasing my love of film on there and get to sharing my opinions about it. So
yeah, so would you say that that's less toxic than Instagram and stuff because it's specifically something that you love?
Yeah, obviously if you're commenting on reviews as well, sometimes it can get toxic, but then again I don't get involved with comments on there. I simply just use it to showcase my opinions and
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. What would you say your favourite thing is about social media?
Meeting new people. Obviously, you got to make sure that they're real at first, because catfishing is a thing.
Yeah.
So once you get to know them, and then sometimes you get even to meet in real life, and you can use it as well to showcase your work. So for me, because I want to be a filmmaker, you get to showcase your projects on there. It can really help to get it out there, because social media is literally possibly one of the biggest things on the planet, and if you use your work to showcase there on social media, it can really help you get it out there.
Definitely. Have you ever had any bad experiences on social media?
I mean, obviously, I used a lot of Instagram and Snapchat when I was younger, but I kind of I deleted them because I had too many social medias and it kind of felt unnecessary, and sometimes it can be really distracting from your real life. So obviously, as I've grown up now and gotten more mature, it's just the main social medias I use are Letterboxd and Twitter. I use Twitter to check out film news, but I don't get involved in any of the debates there. So just those Instagram and Snapchat ones, they're more of the bigger ones, but you can get distracted by them easily, so I just thought...
So do you think that's had a positive impact on you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, not really take a break from it, I'm
just not using it.
No, not using it. Yeah, just because, I've just gotten to practice more of what I love and just focus on my future. And
more productive.
Yeah, more productive in life. Yeah.
So speaking on that, do you think you could, let's say you was on Instagram, or even if it Letterboxd that you use now, do you think you could spend a month away from it? Actually, no social media at all. Could you spend a month away from
Possibly, yeah, but I watch movies quite a lot, and if I could just literally take a break from Letterboxd, I'd say, and then I come back to Letterboxd a month later and just literally log all the movies I've seen in the month, so I'm sure that'd be fine. But then again, if I was to check film news, and I'd be a lot to catch up with in a month, so possibly, yeah.
Would you agree with the statement that social media affects younger people than it does, the older generation?
Definitely, because a lot of adults say nowadays, like, thank God I didn't grow up with social medias or mobile phones, because I don't know whether this is true or not. I'd say about 90% of like the younger generation are all on social media and use technology, and it's kind of like the way it's influenced people. See, like, you know, the content on TikTok is like really just awful, and the fact that people are trying to get inspired off that is kind of, I mean, if they enjoy it, fair enough, but it's personally not for me. But it's just, I just find it stupid.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so.
Yeah. Cut there, Dan. Smashed it.
Thanks.
I'm really passionate about mental health, and I seriously can't explain how beneficial it is for your mental state. Everyone should do it. Social media consumed my life horribly, so I know that if I can do it, literally anybody can do it.
Social media may cause depression.